What's up, Max?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate your willingness to do this. You know, the reason that I started this whole interviewing process is to learn a little bit more about our area, learn about the people in our area, and I've had the fortune of being able to do educators and business owners, but I've always wanted to talk to somebody that was kind of growing up in the midst of it now. So if you want to take a seat, I'd love to ask you a couple questions. You know, one of the things that I ask people that I know grew up in town is what's something that puts a smile on your face when you think about growing up in this area?
Yeah, I would have to say, like, my number one memory from childhood is riding bikes just around the neighborhood, around Hickory. And, you know, my friends scootered in downtown because, you know, it's safe down there. We can do anything we want, as well as I played a lot of golf when I was little at the country club just around the corner.
Yeah. Well, you know, knowing you your entire life, I mean, you grew up across the street from us. I know you have a lot of hobbies, golf being one of them, you said, riding bikes, but also tennis, fishing. And how important was it, like, growing up in a community, or how cool was it, or lucky were you to grow up in a community that kind of allowed you to have access to all this stuff?
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, Hickory is probably the only place that I know of that, like, I can practice all these hobbies and, you know, be pretty good at them.
Yeah.
So, like, with fishing, Lake Hickory, the ponds around here, like, I do that all the time. I enjoy it so much. And then, you know, golf, I've got 4 golf courses around here that I enjoy playing at. And then, you know, tennis, there's the city courts, the country club again. I can play with friends there. And just, like, everyone knows each other and everyone can get each other into hobbies that they enjoy.
So you kind of mentioned kind of the things that you were using around town, and 10, 12 years ago, the city actually did a good job of kind of putting things in motion to bring people from the outside, but also kind of benefiting the local community. And it's the city walk and the river walk and the trails of the mountain bike trails and everything. When you were little, did you see that? Did you feel that growing? I mean, a little bit?
I mean, a little bit. Like, I think when I was a kid, obviously I didn't notice it as much.
Sure.
But, like, now looking back on it, there's been a huge increase in just the stuff that's we are able to do. Yeah. Like, from a young, like a youth, like, there's more restaurants that we can go on. Like, I can take girlfriends on a date or anything like that. And then, like, downtown, the city walk, like, I rode bikes on that all the time with my friends. And then with the mountain bike trails, like, those have always, they've grown so much, but now they draw attention from not only Hickory, but, like, people who want to come to Hickory to ride the trails, which is cool.
Yeah, because I remember when you were little, and Harris was little as well, we used to go there and you could watch it kind of grow, because it went from mile to mile to mile to mile. Yeah. And it was kind of cool how they were continuing to kind of build that up. You know, you're 17, right? And you're getting ready to start your senior year. And you go to University Christian, which Hickory has great public and private schools. You know, in 1 year you're going to be moving on. Do you feel like you're prepared, like the school system has prepared you to feel comfortable moving on?
For sure. Like, from a private school, small private school, like, I feel more prepared, but also from, like, the public schools in the area, I hang out with, you know, friends from all over the schools, and we all kind of share a sense of, you know, great classes, great teachers. And it's great that, you know, most of Hickory High, most of St., most of University Christian can take CVCC classes, can take app classes, can take LR classes, like, at a college level. Yeah,
and it does kind of prepare you to be, you know, on a campus, because your school is actually on that campus, which is cool. So it gives you that kind of environment. You know, one of the things that I think about, and I think about it because my son's roughly your age, is you're going to be going off to school. You're going to be meeting people from all different areas and parts of the country. How would you describe Hickory to them?
I would say, like, Hickory, although, like, it is growing a lot, it still feels small. Yeah. Like, it still feels like everyone knows each other in a good way, like, especially hanging out with friends in high school and, you know, going to parties or whatever. Like, just everyone knows each other, and, like, also the outdoor space is just, like, anyone, we can meet up at the lake, we can meet up at the city trails to ride bikes, we can meet up at the country club to play golf. Like, all of it just meshes well, and there's open space, green space to do anything you want outside.
Right. And it's kind of amazing because every school kind of meshes together. Like, I mean, the public and private, and it all kind of like, you guys are all within each other's circles, which is really cool, which is, I think, says a lot about our community. So thinking about coming into our community, if you had the opportunity to meet a 16-year-old or 17-year-old and they got here, what would be something that you'd say, hey, if you're moving into this town, this is something that I would suggest would be something I'd want you to do?
Yeah, like Hickory for sure, from personal experience. Like, I go to a small school, I had to meet new people from Hickory High, and they're all, welcoming. Like, no one's like, oh, you go to this school, we can't hang out with you or anything. But like going to, Hickory FC games, going to the Crawdads, going to play soccer at Henry Fork out there, like all of that you can just do together and meet new people. And once you meet those people, it just expands to, going on the lake, doing whatever you want with them.
Right, and going downtown, and like I talk about the sales all the time, and when you go out there on a Friday night, I mean, there's from 3-year-olds all the way to 85-year-olds, and it's everybody from the community. It's not somebody from one side of town or the other. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
For sure.
So speaking about going beyond college, you are in 5 years going to be working and choosing a place to live. And is there parts of your hometown that you are going to be important for you to say, hey, this is where, these are attributes to a town that I want to live in, and it's because you grew up there, like with it?
I would say, like, I've visited big cities, and that's not my thing. And for sure, like Hickory, like, having those good memories of riding bikes in the neighborhood with friends, like, I would definitely want that to be somewhere that I could, raise a family or whatever. And also, as like starting a new career, like having businesses in downtown that, you could meet people, you could network, and all this stuff to like benefit your future.
Yeah, because, I mean, we talked about it a little bit off camera, and, even things that you're going to be having to think about, like cost of living and, things that aren't on your radar just yet, but will be part of that. And that's, one of the attributes of Hickory is, you can have home ownership. You can, you can do things like that are reasonable. The other thing is that at 17, 18, could you see yourself coming back to Hickory? I mean, moving back, is this like something you could see yourself? Because I know you kind of said, hey, I like this size town, but could you see yourself in moving
I definitely
back?
think so. Like, knowing, the adults of my friends, like coming back to Hickory would be awesome. Like, if I raise a family again, like they can hang out with the kids of other friends that I have.
Sure.
But also like, just like the outdoor space, the green space. I love being outdoors. I love hiking and, going to the beach. Skiing is like a big thing that I love.
Right.
Hickory's only an hour away from ski slopes and, 4.5 hours away from the beach, which is perfect for anything I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a real good point, and it's kind of funny because I don't think at 17 I would have realized that, really. But, I appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you. This has been real beneficial because we see it through the eyes of people that are in our peer group, but we don't always get to interview individuals that are seeing it from another level. And I knew you'd be perfect for it, and I appreciate you doing it.
Well, thank you, Hank. It's awesome.
Man. Yep. Thank
you.